Hello, you're warmly welcome to Tech for You GH Consulting, and this is 90 Days SL Skills Mastery Challenge. And today happens to be 22 or 22nd day of our challenge, and it is in week 5. On the 25th, we introduce ourselves to the basic functions of Excel, basic functions, date in Excel, how we calculate date in Excel. And we saw that every date that we enter into an Excel has a serial number beneath it. And because of that serial number, we are able to do calculations. We did some few calculations. We're able to calculate maturity periods of projects, invoices, and other stuff. Today, we want to continue. Today, we want to look at some basic functions that we have in Excel that makes the work more easier for us to do, because in calculating, especially working with finance and project, you would definitely need to keep the dates and be able to calculate it very well. So we need to move very fast and understand some of these things. So let's get into work. All right. So day 22nd, introduction to date functions. And we are going to look at some functions that we have in Excel. Sometimes you may have a full date and you only need to know which month it is or what it belongs to, and you want to capture the month. So we have some extractions dates that we have to do. They make work more easier. We have like a day functions. We have like a month functions that returns the month number of a given date. The day returns the day number of a given, and then we also have the year function as well. Then we have the big one that puts all of them together called the date, and that does the opposite. It tries to put the parts together to form a very good date. So let's get into work and see how we do it. Okay, so assuming we have a date 4th April 13th 2026, and we want to find a day part of this, we just enter, like any function, we start with equal to sign, and then you enter the day. So once you enter the day, you see it here, and then you pick it, right? You just need to select the date that you have, and it picks only one argument. So you close it and then enter. Then it tells you that the day part of it is 13th. Here, people are able to use it to also automate to get it. So if you want to put this one into more of a the day of the week, then you can also use another day to be able to get it. The same thing can also let us have the month. So you type month and it's just the date. You see month, you pick it, and then you select the date, one argument, click enter, and then you see the month is 4th. Okay, so then this one also extract the year. So we also pick it, and then we enter year, and then we select the date, and then it also picks the year for you. All these functions you have here takes only single argument. The function argument is the function name, open bracket, and pick the date you have, and it will extract the date component for you. Same as the month and then the year. Now, the big surprise we have here is the date function, which also do the opposite of these three. Instead of this extracting all of them, the date function also put them together. So if I open the date function, it means that I have specific serial numbers like what I have at the top representing date, and I want to get the actual date. So that date function has a screen test. So the first one it takes is the year. So you pick the year, separate with comma, and then the second one you take is the month. Pick the month, separate with comma, and then the last one it takes is the day. Once you pick the date and close the function and hit enter, it puts the date back to you. So we see we have April 13th, 2026. So that is how the date also work. In some cases, we'll be having a lot of individual dates, and then we can use the date function to put them together. When we get into the intermediate and advanced form, we'll see how some of these things are put to real use and how it's able to solve the problem for us. So these are the basic extraction functions, and this is the function that does the opposite of the extractions by putting them together. Let's also find other functions that we have. So we have what we call the EDATE. It finds the exact same day several months in the future past. So let's just say that I am sitting in 12th of April 2026. So I want to find out what day would actually 12th of April 2026 will be in 6 months. So end of date. So it takes the start date and then the number of months. That's the extent. So simple. It takes the start date, and the start date is always the date you are trying to project into the future, or even looking it back. So let's look at how this one is. So when I enter EDATE, that's EDATE equal to EDATE, then it comes. So when I pick it and then I select it, I said that what will be the EDATE in 6 months. So I can project it into 6 months, and then it gives me this. Don't worry. Remember, I've told you that dates are serial numbers. So when you see it like this, don't panic. Just go straight to the home tab, number formatting, and then put it into date and pick any date or you want. Or you can even easily go to the general and select a short date, and then it gives you. So this date in 6 months will give us October 12th, 2026. So if somebody is saying that, oh, go today and come back in the next 20 days, or in the next 3 months, if he says that go and come back in the next 3 months, what you need to do is to pick the date. So you say end date. Assuming you go to somebody today, the person is owing you today. So put a today function. There's a function called today that will give you today function. Hit it. Then the person says, oh, sorry, please, I'm expecting some check to clear, but I want you to come back in the next 2 months. In the next 2 months, it means that your EDATE is going to be today as the start date, and then 2 months in the next 2 months. Once you close and you hit, you know that in the next 2 months will be this. I've told you, don't panic. Convert it to short date. So in the next 2 months, we're going to have June 12, 2026. That's very simple and straightforward. Now, the next one we talked about is what we call the end of month. So this one also find the exact same day several months in the future past, but it takes you to the end of that month. It will take you to the end of that month. Instead of this one giving you the same day, this one takes you to the end of that month. And it is very, very, very great for payroll or due date that always fall on the last day of the month. The last day of the month. So let's look at this one. End of the month also takes what we call the start date and then the specific month that you are talking about. So assuming I want to find the end of the month of this month, I will do equal to end of month, EOM, then you see end of month, and then you select the date, and then you say that 0. 0 means that the same day, the same month, sorry. If you are in the same month, it is 0. The next month will be 1. The previous month will be -1. So it can go forward and it can come back depending on how or what challenge you are tasked to address with the end of month date. So likewise, the EDATE can also go back and also be able to go forward as well. So we can change it to short date, and then we know that this April is 30th. So the month April will end on 30th April 2026. And that is how we use the end of month. Assuming I'm going to find the end of month in 3 months, it takes me to 31st July. If I want to find it in the last month, it's -1. And then it takes me to 31st March. So that is how it is. If you want to, we will use these tricks to be able to do some calculations as far as the date is concerned. That's why I'm stressing on it. Then we also have the weekday. It tells you what day of the week in a date that falls. And then we have returned the number 1 to 7. So it will actually return the number 1 to 7. And 1 will tell you if 1 is Monday, it's going to be 1. And then it's going to, but for example, it will use 1 usually means Sunday and 2 means Monday. So let's go into it. What is equal to weekday? So we pick the weekday and then we can take the date. Once you take the date, it tells you that this day that we have here is 1, and that 1 represents Monday. So that will be Monday or Sunday, sorry. The 1 represents Sunday. So once you put it on, you see that it is 1, then it is Sunday. So that's how the weekday also is. Know that when it returns 1, it means Sunday. When it returns 2, it actually means Monday. So we start counting the days from Sunday rather. Okay. So let's look at week number. Week num. It also tells you which week of the year a date is also falling, and also returns 1 to 52. So we have 52 weeks in a year, and so it takes only the serial number. So let's say if I come and I type my week num, so I see the week num here, and then I pick it, and then I select the date, and it tells me that it will be the 16th week of the year. So it actually, the date actually falls on the 16th week of the year. So today actually falls on 16 days of the year. That's also how it also does the calculation. So we also have what we call the network days. It is the most common way to calculate how many actual working days exist between two dates and automatically exclude Saturdays and Sundays. So if you use the network days, it automatically excludes the Sundays and Saturdays. So the function is a network days, and it has a start date, end date, and if you have holidays, it puts it there. So let's look at what we have here. The project is starting on the 4th of April 2026, and that project is also ending 15th April 2026. What will be the total number of working days that will go there if we are going to exclude the weekend and also the holidays inside? Nobody works on holidays for the project. Nobody works on weekend for the project. So we quickly go and do network days. So let's look at the screen utensils. Like I said, it has a start date. So this is our start date. And then the end date is today, this date. And then the holidays. So we can quickly select the holidays together. Bear in mind, this one would already exclude all the weekends from it, Saturdays and Sundays. So once you hit enter, it's going to get you 9 days. So if you look at 1st to 15th, we have more than almost 14. But because we have holidays, 2 holidays in it, and then we also had weekends in it, it has excluded those dates, and it gives you that the active working days for the project within these 2 periods is 9. So that's how you can also calculate it. Now the network INTL, INTL, calculate the number of working days between 2 dates, allowing you to choose which days are weekend. So this is very crucial. If you are working in an organization where their weekends are actually a weekday, let's say there's an organization I worked for and Wednesdays are always their weekend. Mondays and Tuesdays are their weekends, and they start work from Wednesday to Sunday because of the nature of operations they have. So if they are calculating the working days between 2 periods for this organization, you will have to be able to specify which days are actually the weekend for you. So you get to do that. So let's look at this particular one. The same thing. We're going to assume that the weekends are Sundays and Saturdays. Okay. So the network INTL date will be equal to the start date and then the end date. The difference we have here is that even though it's an option, we need to be able to define our weekends. So we come in and define the weekend. So when you look at here, once you close to get it, it gives you the various combinations of weekends that you have. So we have Saturday, Sunday, Sunday, Monday, Monday, Tuesday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So for the particular organization that I spoke about, we would move it to Tuesday, Wednesday. So that is it for you. You take your time and then you go through the various combinations and choose the specific combinations that apply to your case. and that becomes very easy for you. So we choose Saturday and Sunday, and then we pick it. That's one. And then we go to select our holidays. Once we do that and we hit enter, we get the same working days, because it's also working the same way, because we define Sunday and Saturday as our holidays. So these are the various functions that are very crucial in date calculations in Excel. As we progress through the challenge, we will see how creatively and innovatively how we apply these challenges to solve critical challenges or problems that we have with respect to Excel work or calculations in our offices. I want you to focus on building it here. So we've kept assignment for you that you need to go through and solve it. And that practices will give you more strength to do the date calculation. So please spend a little time, go through, solve it, and come back to the comment section and hit the comment. Please, if you have not subscribed to this channel, I still invite you to subscribe, because we are going on a 90-day marathon, and today is a 22nd day that we do. There are lots that we have to cover. There are lots that we have to do. And at the end of the challenge, you can never be the same when it comes to your Excel skills. One skill at a time. Dates actually goes with time. So we reserve the next days to also treat time. So meet me in the next session as we also address time, how we do the time calculations, how we can calculate between two periods and determine for payroll calculations and others. Please don't miss that, because it's also very essential for your calculations in Excel. Thank you very much for keeping up with this challenge, and see you in the next video. Thank you.